kick out awkwardly, but it's tidied up there by Robbie Allen. Awkward ball. Prez again drive it up with the forwards. Once again Costigan leaves it to his pack. Once again the Prez pack go. Munchins defending as if their lives depend upon it. Once again Prez drive it up. A real war of attrition here. In the dying moments of this Avonmore Milk Schools Cup final. Once again Prez have it. Once again they drive. Love it was there, Rory Love. Again Prez drive. They're over the line. Can they get it down? Held up once again. Once again Prez have it. Can they get over that line? Last ditch tackling. It's unbelievable. Prez again. Form it and drive it. And again the tackles go in. The referee says it's held up and it's going to be yet another scrum. A scrum 5 to Prez, the 4th in a row. Unbelievable stuff here. Once again it's a scrum 5. Shane Costigan puts the ball in. Munchins have taken it against the head. What a heel against the head there. Was that the match-winning heel against the head there from Flannery? Munchins come away, and that really is nearly as good as a try to them. Prez had 4 scrums, 5-metre scrums, and couldn't get over. And now it's a penalty to St. Munchins. Keith Earls, their try scorer, to take the penalty. Kicks long, and the ball is in touch. We're now into injury time in this game. St. Munchins leading by 7 points to 3. The Munchins pack are taking it on. They know the stopwatch is their friend. And away they go again. Munchins happy enough in this end of the field. They're on the Prez 22. They're leading by 7-3. And they still drive it up. A slow ball again, once again. Munchins take it on. Ball is there for Rowley. Will he take it? He kicks it into touch. The referee looks at his watch and he blows for full time. St. Munchins have won the Avonmore Munster Senior Schools Cup. They won in the end by 7 points to 3. It may not have been a terrific game of rugby, but it was a very intense one, and you'd have to say that Munch, with that excellent try from Keith Earls, deserved their victory. Sandra Slattery presents the cup to her son Ger, and a great round of applause for the St. Munchins captain.
Is the most precious one. We won by a point in Cork, beat Prez 2019. Wayne Murphy kicked the conversion from the touchline. Ron Nagara was standing quite near him at the time and he said it was an unbelievable kick for an under 16 player. But obviously the one we lost the year before, I learned more from the one we lost the year before to Rockwell in the final 17-10. I learned an awful lot from that defeat, which helped us win the following year. There's a lot of players over the last 7 years coaching the senior team. It's a difficult question to answer because a lot of players have potential at 18, but that doesn't mean they're going to become professional players at 22, 23. Obviously the last year's cup side, there's a number of players there. Gerald Slattery, the hooker, who played 3 years of senior rugby, played the Irish in the 19s in the World Cup. I think he's great potential to be a professional rugby player. Keith Earls, obviously, as well, would have great potential. Whether that happens or not, they're a bit slow in Munster to give guys a break at professional level. Keith Earls played against Luke Fitzgerald a few times last year. Luke Fitzgerald has played for Ireland this year, and Keith Earls has yet to play for Munster. But I would single out in the last 2 years Keith Earls and Gerald Slattery. Prior to that, we had a number of players that played. There was Donegal Ryan, won a senior cup medal here, and he looks like he's going to make a breakthrough in the next year or two to a Heineken Cup with Munster. Damien Varley looks to be the third choice hooker with Munster at the moment, so he's going to be close to a good professional career as well. But the most satisfying thing is the amount of players that continue playing at a whole range of different levels, Division 3 IAL, Division 2, Division 1, and continue playing junior rugby. That's the most satisfying thing in Munchins. Very few players drop out and stop playing. The key to successful teams is how the players get on well together. Will they play for each other? Do they care enough to play well for each other? If you have 15 fellas that really get on well together, you saw in this year's cup final, the tackle count was huge and they were a very happy team, a happy squad, got on well together. So obviously success isn't about how technical or how knowledgeable the coach is. I don't know a whole lot about rugby, but I do tend to get a good team spirit going, get a good squad spirit going, and get fellas playing for each other with a lot of discipline.
What was your most memorable moment in St Munchins College?
Well, we won the Junior Cup when I was here, so that was a pretty good moment down in Cork. It was 7-5, I think. Other than that, just had a good laugh here. I can remember Mr. Barrett fell off his chair one day outside the class, which was absolutely unbelievable. Like, this is such a hard man, you know. Came in, his sleeves were rolled up around here. He slammed the books down. And kind of sat back and was telling everyone to shut up and play with his pen, and then he's leaned a bit too far and the leg kind of bent, and he was doing the kind of grab the table for about 10 seconds. He just slapped off the ground.
Did any teacher tickle your fancy?
No.
Did you find that St Munchins College played an important role in making you the player that you are now?
Definitely, yeah. I didn't take rugby that seriously until I came here. I was kind of more into soccer. Played with Corby here. Just when we got here, then when we started playing Junior Cup, you know, I'd always supported Munchins. Like, I'd grown up, like, I only lived down the road. My brother went here and my dad went here, so I just go to a lot of the Junior and Senior Cup matches. But you know, when you get here in the level of interest that's here and kind of everyone's playing, and just supposed to get a break from the study, like. Definitely helped me develop as a player.
Were you teacher's pet or a class clown?
I was a bit of both, I suppose. Certainly wasn't the best, you know, the most studious young fella in the world. Preferred to be out kicking a ball, but I definitely wasn't a teacher's pet on the other side. Like, I loved a bit of crack, but didn't be causing much trouble now.
What career would you have chosen if you weren't so successful in rugby?
No idea. Degree in business, but I couldn't see myself working in an office or something like that. Probably be away doing the trip around the world at the moment, like if I wasn't playing, if I'd be living here. To be honest, no idea.
Who was your favourite rugby player when you were growing up?
Jason O'Brien was great old lad. Growing up, I suppose when Brian Driscoll burst onto the scene, it was, you know, I suppose everyone was a huge fan of his. Ronald Garrett was a huge fan of. Michael Bradley, when I was younger, was a big fan of. So, and then I got to play under him at Irish 21, so I'd say Brad's would be one of my favourite players.
Who do you think was the most successful Munchins player?
I suppose Keith Woods or Anthony Foley. Keith, I suppose, you know, playing with the Lions. I don't know if he captained the Lions, but playing with the Lions anyway. Anthony Foley from the Nine Cup. I suppose you can't get any better than that, you know.
What advice would you give a young, ambitious rugby player?
A few in the room here, I'd say. I suppose, you know, don't get too big for your boots, lads. No, just enjoy it, you know, just have a bit of crack when you're young, lads. I love just going out on the road, kicking a ball around when I was a young fella, staying fit. I suppose you can't watch enough rugby, you know, watching other players how they play, especially at the top level, you know, making difficult things look simple, you know. But enjoy it, most importantly.
What was your proudest moment in St Munchins College?
My proudest moment was probably the day I finished school. long trip and I got through it, so I was happy to get out.
Who was your favourite teacher and why?
I suppose because he's standing over there, I have to say Flannery. He's a lovely fella, he's always been very supportive of me and he's a good guy all round.
Did you fancy any teachers when you were in school here?
I repeated 6 years, so I was there for 6 years, and the female teachers when I were there weren't really much, but again, if I had to fancy one, I'd say Flannery again. It was always nice. Mr. Peter he's fairly good.
Did you find that St. Munchins College played an important role in making you the player you are now?
Yeah, I suppose. I think most players in Munchins, they kind of grow up. I suppose maybe it's a bit of a chip in your shoulder, help you work a bit harder. I always felt that we had to work a bit harder than the other schools, especially down in Cork, because there's only 2 real rugby schools in Cork, so I was kind of grew up a bit better, and I think that helps you when you're playing rugby.
How did you find the adjustment from playing club rugby to international rugby?
Easy.
What career would you have chosen if you weren't so successful in rugby?
I'd probably be pimping it.
Who was your childhood idol?
You get asked this a good bit in rugby, but I never really had one. I was a massive Chelsea fan when I was younger. Dennis Wise is a big one. In rugby, I suppose you could pick out just any players who were just good Munster players. I suppose Peter Classy, David Corkery, Keith Wood, all these kind of players.
Why do you think so many Munchins players have become successful rugby players?
I suppose there's difference, some of the lads I played with, like when I was in school, like when you play in the Irish schools and stuff, you see lads come out of Blackrock College and I think they're superstars and everything, because they're in school, in these big boarding schools where the rest of the year falls in love with them and they start thinking they're big shots. Whereas Munchins, everyone slates everyone, so no one gets above themselves, and I think that's an important way.
What advice would you give to a young, ambitious rugby player?
Just to concentrate on the basics, do the basics really well in your position. There's no reason you can't go on to play forward, and then just be honest with your training all the time.
What advice would you give to a specific ambitious rugby player, the senior team captain, Liam Murphy?
As long as Liam keeps training hard, just get stuck into the opposition, just be honest all the time and keep a good team spirit there. Cheers, Derry.
What was the highlight of your time in St. Munchins College?
I'd say winning the Junior Cup. It was back in '93, so I think it was a great occasion for the school because my brother was involved the year before and they were narrowly beaten in the final, and I think it was just a great buzz around the school and good memory. And
Did you find that St. Munchins College played an important role in making you the player you are now?
yeah, definitely. I think coming from Munchins, the fact that we had a history of maybe not winning a lot of trophies from the years I was here and before, I think a lot of guys had to work hard and a lot of honesty came out of a lot of players that I played with. I think we suffered a lot, I suppose, by losing games, and I think I brought that on now, I suppose, as well to my career with Munster. I think you have to play with a bit of honesty, and when you're hurt and you miss out on big occasions like we did in school, you always carry that with you, and I think it drives you on. Were you a teacher's pet or a class clown? I think I was kind of the guy in the middle that, if there was a bit of messing going on, I'd get involved but could hide away when the punishment was being dished out. So I'd say I was nicely tucked in there in the middle somewhere.
What career would you have chosen if you weren't successful in rugby?
I'd like to think I'd have some sort of career in sport, whether it be coaching or PE or something like that. Or I think I've been through the rigors of college and stuff like that. I've realised that maybe 9 to 5 is pretty tough, and I'd like to see myself maybe in a career in sport afterwards.
Who was your favourite rugby player when you were growing up?
I used to watch Nick Pappa when he was playing with Ireland, obviously because he was the same position as me, so I really admired the way he played. But for Shannon at the time, Nick Galway I think was a bit of an idol, and I was lucky enough to play with him after leaving school, so it was great.
Who do you think was the most successful Munchins player?
I think you'd like to think Jerry would like to think it's him, but I think it would definitely have to be Keith Wood. You know, I think what did it for me about Woody was we were on tour in Tonga one year and walking down a small street in one of the towns, and two young fellas jumped out from behind a bush like two Tongans and roared, "Woody, how's it going?" So I think he's well known all over the world, and you know, from a guy from this school, I think that's pretty special, and he's achieved an awful lot, you know.
What advice would you give to a young, ambitious rugby player?
I think for a young rugby player coming through, and I think the only thing you can do is keep learning. I think a lot of players will admit that every time you go training, you learn something new and something you probably didn't know before. So I would never go in with the attitude that you think you know it all, no matter what you've achieved or where you're coming from. So I think it's always to be open-minded and realise you can learn from other people, you know.
What advice would you give this year's senior team captain, Liam Murphy?
Well, I think Jerry kind of said it already. I think, you know, you have to play with that bit of honesty and a bit of hurt. That, you know, if you've suffered disappointment before, you know, if you just play with an honest heart, and especially as a captain, if you show honesty, I think the rest of your team will follow that, you know.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Cheers, lads.
What was the highlight of your time at St Munchins College?
It's hard to put, you know, one thing on it, you know, because I was probably fortunate when I came through Munchins that we had, you know, such a good period of time, be it on the rugby field or the hurling field or whatever. We always seem to be very competitive, and we seem to win a lot of trophies.
Important role in making you the player that you are now?
I think it's always important that you have a good foundation, and I think Munchins provided that for me and a lot of the other lads that come out of here. It seems, you know, even looking at the players that are come out of Munchins that I wouldn't have known when I was in here, they all seem pretty level, and you know, they all seem to have a good work ethic, and you know, it helps to, you know, further your career, and you know, that seems to be the way most guys succeed today.
Did you enjoy being a boarder in the school?
I have to say the first year was pretty difficult because you're away from home for the bones of 12 days. We got the Sunday off in the middle, and you got home for a few hours, and you know, when you're 12, 13 years of age, it is pretty difficult. But once you got used to it and grew into it, you know, there was so much to do in here, and you know, when you played as much sport as I did when I was in here, you know, I'd say I was rarely in the place the amount of times I was getting the bus out of here, you know.
What career would you have chosen if you weren't so successful in rugby?
I don't know, it's always one of these what ifs, you know, and it's not something that I've dwelled on, you know, because who knows, most of the lads who I would have played with went into banking and stuff like that, but I don't know would I've had much interest in that, and I don't know, it probably would have helped my father out or something like that, and that way, something I really didn't think about that much.
Who was your childhood idol?
Childhood idol? Tony Ward was one. Obviously gifted playmaker, there was a bit of genius about him. But up to recently, you know, I suppose a lot of lads in the Munster squad would have the same view, and you know, we just Roy Keane has been the idol for a lot of us, because he's kind of set a standard in his own career, and ask questions of why things aren't done, and that allows us to follow down his road and ask those questions and demand more out of the system and demand more out of ourselves.
Have you noticed any major changes in St Munchins College since you were here?
Yeah, the boarding is gone. It's a shame. I always thought it was two different cultures colliding. You'd a good blend of lads coming in, and it was one of those. Being a boarder, I always felt we were the life and soul of the school anyway. It was. I suppose it is a bit different these days, but back then, boarding was a big thing in here.
Who, in your opinion, is the most successful Munchins player?
I suppose he's probably one of the most recognised men in world rugby, Mr. Wood. Whether it's his shaven head or his devilish good looks, I don't know. He seemed to have done most things in sport in rugby, and captain Ireland, played for the Lions on a couple of occasions. He's one I can remember, but I suppose Wiggs Mulcahy or someone like that would have done something similar. I'd say because of the way Woody is seen around the world and the way he carries himself, I suppose he would be the one I'd choose anyway.
What advice would you give to a young ambitious rugby player?
Everything takes hard work. Nothing is easy. The funny thing about making it in rugby is you can have all the skill, you can have all the ambition, but there's a big slice of luck involved as well, and it's something that people don't pay enough time to. There is that bit of opportunity. You just have to look at Jerry Flannery in that instance, and it happened to me as well when I was coming through. I got a lucky break in Shannon. Fella broke his finger, I got onto the bench and I got a game, and I haven't looked back since. It's one of those things that when people look back into their careers, it's that bit of luck, and without having the skill and the work ethic, you're not going to get yourself into the position to take your chance if it comes. So everything lends to each other, but you definitely need a good foundation. All right.
My second training last year, I was in St Munchins College in Ennis, and I never really got the opportunity to play rugby in school. So I've been playing rugby since I was 7 years old, and I just once I heard the opportunity to play rugby on a daily basis in Munchins, I said I'd definitely come in. So myself and my father came in to Munchins to meet up with last year's senior manager, John Broderick, and he just went through kind of the opportunities that I get playing senior rugby. So once I came out, I knew that I wanted to come to Munchins and play senior rugby, because I heard of all the great players that came out and were still presently there. So I knew that I had to go to better my rugby as well at the same time. So the session in Munchins was actually the first bit of physical I was doing with Munchins. So it was my first match during training, and whatever happened during them all, my knee dislocated, and I was just absolutely devastated, because at the same time I was trying to settle in the school and settle in a new house. So it took a while to settle in after that, because I was out of school for at least a week and a half. So it was tough, at the same time, but I got a lot of support from the coaches and players, which helped a lot. But over the course of about 3 months, I was constantly in physio and just trying to get back and play. But so my first game back, we travelled up to Dublin to play Ciaran O'Hanlon College, and I was starting at number 8.